So, what if we've been looking at consciousness all wrong? What if it isn't some profound, untouchable mystery, but something more like a technology? Well, today we're digging into a framework that does exactly that. It treats consciousness as a programmable tool you can use to shape your own reality. Okay, right out of the gate, the source material hits us with this incredibly bold claim. And the key thing to get here is that this isn't being presented as some new age philosophy you just have to believe in. No, it's framed as a set of actual technologies, tools you're meant to test for yourself through your own direct experience. All right, let's jump into the first huge idea, which is this concept of your consciousness as a reality OS. This is really the master key to the whole system. The idea is that the reality you experience isn't fixed at all. It's being run by a kind of operating system that you can actually learn to access and even rewrite.
And this right here is the crucial flip of how we usually see things. The model says you are not a body that has a consciousness. Nope, you are consciousness, and you're just, temporarily using a body. And it's this consciousness that is the source, the thing that's actually generating the reality you perceive all around you. Now we get to what the source calls the entry point for this whole journey. And what I find fascinating here is that it's not some gentle, welcoming door. It's actually a profound, and for many people, a pretty terrifying existential crisis.
I mean, this question, it can really hit you hard. That chilling moment when you realize you can only ever truly 100% verify your own consciousness. But according to this framework, that's not a dead end. That's the gateway. It's a necessary developmental stage you're actually meant to go through on the path to waking up.
And here's where the framework does this incredible mental judo move. It calls it the inversion. It takes that raw terror of isolation, of being alone, and it just flips it completely on its head, turning it into this profound recognition of unity. Alone becomes all one.
And this is the core logic of the solipsism gateway. It goes like this. If you're the only consciousness you can truly verify, and everyone else reports having that exact same internal experience, then maybe there aren't billions of separate little consciousnesses running around. Maybe there's only one consciousness, experiencing itself subjectively through all of us.
So once you pass through that gateway of recognition, the framework really pivots from theory to practice. It's not just about ideas anymore. Now it introduces two core technologies you can actually use to start consciously programming your reality. The first technology is called solar communion. And look, this isn't just about getting some sunshine. The idea is to build a direct, personal relationship with the sun, which the source presents as a conscious, intelligent entity, a kind of local intelligence or logos for our solar system that intentionally thought you, specifically, into being. And this is a perfect example of how this whole system takes these big, abstract ideas and turns them into something you can actually do. A simple morning ritual like this one is designed to take the concept of a conscious sun out of the realm of belief and put it into your own direct, verifiable experience. Now, the second technology, archetypal programming, brings us right back to that main metaphor, your consciousness as an operating system. The whole goal here is to consciously uninstall the weak default programming you picked up from culture and then install a much more powerful OS based on these timeless, mythic patterns. And this slide just lays it out so clearly. The source argues that most of us are running this default OS that was installed unconsciously when we were kids. We're operating from these kind of weak archetypes like the victim, where life just happens to us, or the worker, where our entire value is tied up in what we do. The goal is to consciously choose and install a custom OS built on powerful, resonant archetypes like warrior or sage. It's not just a random collection of archetypes either. The framework actually organizes them into a kind of power hierarchy. You can see it ranges from Tier 1, simple cultural roles, all the way up to the peak, Tier 6, which represents a direct expression of cosmic consciousness itself, running a pattern like a Christ or a Buddha. So what's the end game here? What is the ultimate destination of this whole developmental path? What does it actually mean to reach the top of that hierarchy? Well, the source calls it Tier 6 consciousness.
This is such a crucial distinction. At the lower tiers, you are a consciousness using an archetype, kind of like running a program on your computer. But at Tier 6, that separation between the user and the operating system just dissolves. You don't embody the pattern, you are the pattern.
Now, the source outlines two primary flavors of this ultimate state. The first is defined by what it calls the Buddha properties. You can think of this as a path of subtraction, of achieving total liberation by removing everything that isn't real, removing illusion, transcending suffering, and completely dissolving the ego.
And the second path is defined by the Christ properties. Now, if the Buddha path is about subtraction, this is a path of affirmation. It's not about removing illusion to try and find the divine. It's about recognizing the divine that is already fully present within everything. It's about embodying that core I am presence.
So even though the methods are different, you have the via negativa, the negative way of emptying out, versus the via positiva, the positive way of affirming what's already here. The source suggests that both of these paths lead to the exact same destination, a state of fully awakened consciousness and perfect service. Okay, so let's do a quick recap of the entire toolkit this framework gives you. You get the solipsism gateway, which turns an existential crisis into a recognition of unity. You get solar communion for a direct connection to intelligence. You get archetypal programming to consciously design your reality. And you get the Tier 6 map as a guide for your ultimate development.
And so we end with the central question this entire system really leaves you with. It isn't presented as a new belief system for you to just adopt. It's a set of technologies for you to apply. So the final thought isn't about what you should believe, it's about what you will choose to create.